Now that it's over, we wanted to give every quarterback an opportunity to share their thoughts on the 2024 season. And after such a great year, we're confident that they'll provide us with some valuable insights and overall positive sentiments about the season that was. If I don't get a better defense, I am going to jump off a bridge. I just put together the best statistical season of my career, and we didn't even sniff the playoffs because our defense was so bad. And then people have the audacity to say I'm just another what-if quarterback like Justin Herbert, as if there was literally anything else I could do. Do you want me to go out there and play corner? Because I'll do it. Personally, I think I'm a little too white for that, but Cooper DeJean's really opening some doors, so who knows? Everyone's been so mean to me since that playoff game. It used to be, oh, Justin's so good, Justin's so underrated. Now everyone just calls me if man and says I'm only good in hypotheticals. I'm still an MVP caliber player. Sure, I might completely collapse in the biggest game of our season, ending our playoff run before it even gets started and casting a dark cloud of meaninglessness over my statistically great regular season. So what? Not like I'm the only one who's ever done that. What? Look, I know the playoff success hasn't been there, and I know adding one of the best running backs of all time didn't put us over the edge, but it's only a matter of time, hopefully. But hey, at least I'm winning MVPs in the meantime, and I should have won a third if it wasn't for voter fatigue. Fatigue. Yeah, I'm definitely tired. Tired of losing to the Chiefs! When is it finally gonna be my time? God, is this what Peyton Manning felt like? Being one of the all-time greats, but being constantly suppressed and overshadowed by an all-time greater? This blows. But at least I have this MVP to keep me warm. It should be keeping me warm. Definitely wasn't how we wanted our season to end, but we'll be back and better than ever next year, even if we did lose 90% of our coaching staff. I mean, sure, we lost 2 of the best coordinators in the sport, a number of invaluable assistants, and even some of our cafeteria workers, all of whom were instrumental to our success. But it can't be that hard to replace them, right? Right? I think I'm gonna miss Chef Martha the most. Her omelets were so good. Thank God Ben decided to come here because last season was a disaster. Complete dysfunction, top to bottom. But I will admit, even taking the horrible coaching into account, playing quarterback in the NFL is a lot harder than I expected. Man, playing quarterback in the NFL is a lot easier than I expected. Yeah, I thought the same thing, and then the sophomore slump hit me harder than Prime Ray Lewis. I'm not taking anything away from Jaden, but he should be thankful his offensive line was so much better than expected. Because mine fell off and I sucked. Caleb didn't have one to begin with, so he sucked. It's kind of annoying how much of our success just comes down to the big guys in front of us. Yeah. You don't say. The fact I managed to put up 17 touchdowns with 5 traffic cones protecting me is nothing short of a miracle. You know how around Christmas time, quarterbacks will usually buy gifts for their offensive linemen? Yeah, I bought mine one-way tickets to Bermuda, hoping they wouldn't come back. Thanks to Kendrick Lamar and my O-line, 2024 is gonna go down as the year Drake's took a beating. Imagine not having the best pass-blocking O-line in the entire league. Couldn't be me. My guys kept me cleaner than a Tim Tebow drug test. We really did have a great season, though. I mean, 10-7 with a rookie quarterback while half our payroll is tied up by some goofball in Pittsburgh. Guess a great O-line and a great defense really can take you a long way. Offensive line this, offensive line that. Why don't we talk about what really makes or breaks an offense? The quarterback having zero regard for his own well-being and recklessly launching his head into defenders and or the ground constantly, putting him out of commission until further notice. If our offense is gonna fall apart, it's gonna be because of me and no one else. I'm confused. Why does it sound like you're almost proud of getting hurt? Buddy, my brain looks like a bowl of fettuccine Alfredo. You shouldn't be expecting me to make sense ever again. Obviously, this season didn't go as we expected, but I want to make one thing abundantly clear. In no way, shape, or form was it my fault. If you were to create a ranking of who's to blame, I'm not even in the top 50 because I am perfect in every way. And I did take the liberty of creating that list, so let's see. We've got Woody Johnson, Woody Johnson's kids, the Madden franchise, Robert Saleh, Mike Greenberg, the popcorn guy in section 112, he really didn't pull his weight this year, Fauci. Yeah, trying to bounce back from this torn Achilles situation was a little harder than I thought. Now, I didn't get to watch much of the Jets this season, but I assume Rodgers' year went pretty bad too? Well, the Jets season definitely went bad, but statistically, Rodgers was pretty good. And he didn't get benched for a rookie. He did not. Ah, frick. Pardon my language. This season kind of felt like a fever dream. I got drafted top 10, but to a team that not only had a quarterback, but had just signed him to a massive deal. But then he ended up sucking, so I was starting by the end of the year anyway. Kind of feels like Atlanta used the wrong formula and somehow got the right answer, but whatever. I have 2 fully functioning Achilles, and I'm ready to lead this team into the future. Why can't I have 2 fully functioning Achilles? Seriously, I feel like nothing but bad things have been happening to me for years now, and I can't figure out why. Like, what did I do to deserve this? Really? You can't think of anything you might have done to trigger this karmic retribution. Sometimes I forget to recycle. Do you think that could be it? No. Whatever. Can I go now? I'm supposed to meet up with Justin Tucker downtown. For what? Book club? Right. Folks, before we move on, this video is once again brought to you by our friends over at MyBookie. They help make content like this possible, and while football may be over, and while I may cry myself to sleep about it every night, there are plenty of other sports for us to dive into while we wait for the best one to come back. So if you're into sports betting or are looking to get into it, first of all, do it responsibly. But second of all, using MyBookie to do it is a great way to support both me and my channel. Just use code BENCHWARMER when you sign up, and you'll also get your first deposit matched up to $1,000. Now, I'm mainly going to be diving into basketball for the next couple months, especially college basketball. And if you're planning on betting on March Madness, this is the perfect time to get some practice and get familiar with some of these teams. This Saturday, we have a matchup between 2 legitimate national title contenders, and I'm taking Iowa State plus 7.5 against Houston. This is the only time these 2 teams are going to meet in conference play this year, and I just think it's destined to be a tight one. On top of that, I'm taking Duke minus 10.5 against Illinois. Weird little neutral site game in late February here, but Illinois is coming off back-to-back losses by 14 and 21 to teams not as good as Duke. And the Blue Devils, I hate to say, might be my national champion pick. And lastly, I'm taking Oklahoma State plus 16 on the road against Kansas. Oklahoma State is not very good, but I just don't think Kansas is in the business of beating beating anyone by 16 right now. They've lost 3 of their last 4 and just got rocked by 34 points against BYU. So those are my picks. You can tail me, fade me, do whatever you want. Just make sure you sign up with code Benchwarmer. All right, back to the video. I may not be what you would call a winning quarterback, but if I'm out there, you're gonna be entertained. And that's more than you could say for most of the Browns quarterbacks over the last 30 years. Except me. Every year it becomes more and more obvious that those idiots should have just hung on to me. But honestly, thank God they did. Why would I want to be in a division with 3 teams that are all consistently over 500 when I have a free pass to a division title every year with these clowns? The Falcons can't stay out of their own way, the Saints are bankrupt, and the Panthers are the Panthers. I'm good right here. Only thing I will say is I wish we could stop losing our offensive coordinator every year. Jacksonville. The community. Duval. Sorry, just trying to get on the same page as my new head coach. But seriously, Tampa, thank you for Liam Cohen, because if we didn't get him, I honestly have no idea what we were going to do. Probably hire Robert Saleh, go 5-12, and do this all over again next offseason. But I really think Cohen's the guy that can get my career back on track. And I hope he does, because it is genuinely alarming that Mac Jones almost put up better numbers in this offense at the end of the year than I did. All I did was throw the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. It really wasn't that hard. Yeah, stealing coordinators from Tampa and hiring them as your head coach tends to work out pretty well. I thought my career was over until Dave Canales turned it around. He really is a quarterback whisperer. We're just not going to acknowledge the fact that me getting in a car crash is the only reason Bryce got to start again to begin with. Don't get me wrong, the redemption arc has been great, but if I don't get rear-ended by some weenie in his Hyundai Sonata, none of this ever happens. Crazy part is the guy got away, so I don't even know who hit me. Oh, by the way, I'm selling a Hyundai Sonata if anyone's interested. It is used and slightly damaged, but trust me, it gets the job done. Steelers country? We tried. Honestly though, this season pretty much went as expected. We finished above 500, made the playoffs, and lost in the first round, which from my understanding is what the Steelers do literally every year. So I'm proud that I was able to step in and seamlessly keep this train of mediocrity chugging along. You're welcome, Pittsburgh. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to start looking for houses in Las Vegas. Can someone just start me, please? I'm not a perfect quarterback, and I understand that, but there is no reason that guys like Gardner Minshew and Derek Carr should have starting gigs year after year while I'm stuck on benches with my thumb up my butt. Just give me a chance. I promise I'll at least be fun to watch. I'm like Jalen Hurts if he was a little bit dumber, or Anthony Richardson if he was a little bit smarter. I'm gonna figure it out, alright? I just need to completely rebuild my passing mechanics from the ground up, because any ball I throw under 50 yards is liable to get intercepted because I have no idea where it's going. It can't be that hard to undo 15 years of flawed muscle memory in one offseason, right? Yeah, it's not a great sign when your 22-year-old franchise quarterback of the future gets benched mid-season for a 40-year-old father of 5 who spends more time watching Bluey than game film and whose joints creak like an old wooden door every time he stands up. But I still think there's hope for the kid. He has the perfect combination of size and speed, so I have no doubt he can be one of the very best tight ends in the league one day. I'm starting to think maybe the 2023 quarterback class wasn't very good after Bryce and CJ. You've got me, Richardson, Aiden O'Connell, and we're all like if a hoarder took up playing guitar. We have way too many picks. Things got so bad with Levis that I got meaningful playing time this year. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Let me tell you something, brother. Minshew Mania is on its last legs, brother. Just like Hulk Hogan, people are starting to see through my incredibly marketable persona, brother, and are realizing that I am, in fact, not very good.
But unlike Hulk Hogan, I'm not a racist piece of garbage, so at least I got that going for me. I have no idea how I'm still here. I imagine my days are probably numbered, but like the proud Purdue alum that I am, I'm gonna ride this train for as long as possible. I think Aiden's underestimating how long he can ride that train for, because you could be a bad quarterback in this league and still stick around for a long time. Heck, if you play your cards right, you can turn being a bad quarterback into a $160 million contract and 70 starts across 6 seasons. You just need a franchise dumb enough to let you do it, and he plays for the Raiders, so... Or you could sign on to be the backup for obviously terrible quarterbacks, knowing you'll become the starter eventually anyway and without all the pressure. Sorry, Daniel. My check still clears. I really just had a dream season that almost completely repaired my reputation and blew it right at the end. For the first time in my career, people started to say, hey, maybe he's actually good. I mean, he was on some of the most dysfunctional franchises in the sport with the Jets and Panthers. Maybe this is the real Sam Darnold when he actually has some decent coaching. And then I laid 2 giant turds to end the season, which is exactly why I will be starting next year. Hey, can I pull a Ben Simmons and still win Rookie of the Year? I just hope people can see the big picture and don't judge me off of only our last 2 games. I hope people completely ignore the big picture and judge me strictly off of our first 2 games. We were flying high, man. We dropped 40 in back-to-back games to open the season. People were talking about us playing in the Super Bowl in our home stadium. And then we lost 7 in a row, and reality set in that we are a cap-strapped team with minimal talent who just happened to play 2 really bad defenses to start the year. We'll always have those first 2 games, though. I might start next year, and that should be highly concerning for everyone involved. You want to talk about a season where everything that could go wrong did go wrong? Look no further than the 2024 San Francisco 49ers. Injuries, hospitalizations, personal tragedies, you name it, it happened to us. If this season taught me anything, it's that I definitely can't carry this team on my own. I need all these weapons by my side, or we're not going to go very far.
Does that mean you're going to take a discount when you sign your extension?
Oh, hell no. I was Mr. Irrelevant, dude. Do you know how much luck it took just to get this far? I'm taking every dollar I can get.
That's fair.
Yeah, the Niners being trash was an unexpected but welcome development. Most years 10-7 isn't enough to cut it with those guys around, but with them out of the picture, not only did we squeak into the playoffs, we clubbed the Vikings while we were at it. I don't know what the future holds, though. There's been some rumblings about me going to the Giants, and all I'll say is if that happens, I am throwing Malik Neighbors the ball 400 times. Seriously, guys, just throw the ball to LSU receivers. It really is that simple. Hey, can we extend Toyotathon by a month or 2? Who do I have to talk to make that happen? I went undefeated for the entire 2024 season, and I will not let you forget it. Does anyone even remember we exist? Seriously, you guys watching, can you name anything the Arizona Cardinals did this past season? Or are we just just the NPCs of the NFL. I think that's just life in the NFC West. If you're not one of the California teams, no one's really paying attention to you. I mean, I broke the record for most consecutive completions this year, and JSN had 3 separate 200-yard games, but no one even talked about it. And on top of that, I just lied about those 2 things, and you had no idea. That's how little attention people paid to what we were doing this year.
Yeah, I hate Jerry Jones!
Seriously though, is it so much to ask for an owner that doesn't actively make everything more difficult than it needs to be? Alienating CD for no reason, not signing any meaningful free agents after we collapsed last year, throwing a tantrum because someone suggested we get curtains for the stadium, hyping up a trade for Jonathan Mingo like we were about to get Randy Moss. Jerry set us up to fail so bad that I'm almost glad I got hurt so I didn't have to deal with it. Can confirm it was not fun dealing with. I can't believe I'm still around.
Yeah, it just wasn't our year, man. Turns out barely squeaking by bad teams thanks to blocked field goals and botched snaps wasn't a sustainable way to win a championship. And we were probably always destined to get our rocked by a better team. The good news is this is probably going to set me on a revenge tour for the ages. So get ready for me to throw 50 touchdowns next year.